let's talk about your start in racing.
So I started in racing when I was 8 years old and my brother was 6. So we were in elementary school. We raced go-karts at Stafford. I grew up going to Stafford with my family and did go-karts for a while. And when I was 16 years old, so I had my permit but not my license, I moved up to the Dare Stocks division. It's now called the Street Stocks. But I moved up to the Dare Stocks. My brother and I, he was 14, I was 16. My mom drove us to our first race. And from there, I've stayed in full-size cars since then at Stafford. So I raced in the Dare Stocks for, I think, 4 years, I think. Yeah, I think it was 4 years. Grabbed a couple of wins there and then moved to Limiteds in 2017, grabbed a handful of wins there and a championship in 2021. And then in 2023, I moved up to late models and have grabbed a win since then. I am the only woman to win in all 3 fender divisions at Stafford.
Why don't you bring us back real quick to when you started? So you spent 8 years, right? Is that the Wild Thing karts? Is that right?
Yeah. So I started racing in Wild Thing karts on the Stafford Mini Mile.
So what type of success did you have back then?
Well, when I started, I was not good. I'm going to be straight up. Like, I was not very good. I was super nervous. My brother was really good, so he carried the torch for a while.
So is he the one that still comes out every now and then?
Yeah, Ryan is my brother.
Yeah, he's a little crazy. Is he? He always seems like he's I don't know. I mean, crazy is not the right word. He doesn't give a shit. Every time I watch him or see an interview, it seems like he doesn't care and just having a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's definitely there to just have fun. That's what I think. I know that's part of the reason why he's hasn't been full-time recently, because he just likes to go and have fun. I have loved watching him race. We actually raced in different divisions for a number of years. He was in late models and I was in limiteds, especially during the era when I was going for the championship. It was super fun to watch him race. Yeah.
How do you think the Wild Thing karts helps you translate to the higher divisions, like the fender divisions? Like, how do you think, because I know Wade, prides himself a lot on that stuff.
I think, honestly, that experience was helpful for me because I learned how to race.
Yeah.
That's the first and foremost thing, and just getting experience. I think getting any seat time is really helpful, especially when you're young and never done this before.
Yeah.
Of course, my family has been in racing, so there's that, but that only goes so far. I think that really helped a lot, and also to understanding everything that comes with racing. So growing up with the fact that you can't win every single race. It's not like any other sport where, you either win or lose. And I think that's something else that I learned too. But I think that's part of it. And also that it's a grind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every single week.
So today when you race, do you still, some of the people you race against, were they competitors back then?
Yeah. So I raced, I'm trying to think. In late models right now, there's nobody that I currently race with that raced go-karts with me, but I actually got a picture the other day. It was me, Michael Christopher Jr., and Jeff Champagne in go-karts. I don't know what the year was, but we were the podium. So I raced with them growing up. I raced with Ronnie Williams growing up, Dylan Kopech.
So have you guys remained friends? I mean, are you guys cordial, or would you guys chat, or is it just...
We're not like besties.
Yeah.
And I guess I wasn't really besties with that. Well, no, I was friends with pretty much everyone. We've kind of gone all of our different directions. I'm one of the only people who stayed in fenders, interestingly. But I think that's partially due to a lot of people's families grew up in modified racing. So I'd say, I like talking to them. I always enjoy seeing them and running into them when we're all not racing, which is pretty rare. So that's been nice too, to have like a lifelong.
Yeah,
connection.
I understand. Obviously, Brody's my nephew, and he could give, honestly, I think 2 craps about open wheel cars. He loves fenders, and it has to be something dynamite to think about getting into an open wheel. But other than that, he wants pro stocks. And are you like that too? Are you interested in moving in that direction into your career? I'm talking open wheels.
I think that it's something I'm always open to any opportunity, but it's not something that I am actively grinding for. I really like fendered racing. I think that I'm just biased because my family grew up doing that.
Haven't they?
Always
That's
done
always.
that.
I mean,
they've always been fendered, right?
The Fearn family, I always associate with fendered
Yeah.
cars.
Like my family's never done any modified racing as far as I know. So I'm biased. And but I think it's exciting. I know, like I grew up working on the cars. I grew up driving them. So to me, it feels the most comfortable. And that also is why I like doing it, because it's exciting when, you know, we know exactly what we have to do to make the car better. It's exciting when you go out on the track and you know how to set somebody up for a pass, and like you've had so many laps there in this type of car that you know what's going on. So I think I just like it a lot more.
I've got another question for you. You seem to like, I watch you a lot, obviously, because you know I have a daughter that races. So I pay particular attention to you and Amanda West and a lot of the female drivers. When do you think that you really got comfortable in feeling at one with your car, if you know what I mean, right? Like, so leaning and navigating traffic and not being scared of somebody trying to bully you around, because obviously you don't give a shit about that. You're always aggressive for a female. Does that go back from the karting days, or is that started like limiteds or dare stocks?
I would say in karting, like basically my entire racing career until 2020, I'd say I was pretty passive.
Yeah.
For one reason or another. And then during COVID, we started, so that particular year at Stafford, I was racing limiteds, and I had a fine year the year before that. I think I had like 3 wins or something. And we started racing later in the year due to the pandemic. So I got the car already and then just kind of like sat around and did nothing. I quit my job, went to law school. So really the only things I was doing was going to school online and racing stuff. So I had a lot of time to like think about these things and like work on the car and study my own racing. And that's kind of, I think, when things started clicking for me, because I had a lot of time to invest in it. Like I started racing full size cars when I was in high school. I was a kid, like, yeah, I was invested, but like I also had like kid stuff going on.
Yeah, right.
And then my other years in limiteds, I was in undergrad, so I was also in school. And now, so I had the privilege of having a lot of time to dedicate to this. And honestly, I think that that is what got things like really going for me and got it to really click. I started studying every aspect of like what I was doing. The only times I left the house was to go to the racetrack or go to the shop, and it was awesome. I know a lot of people didn't have a good time during COVID, so if that's you, I'm sorry. But I was lucky enough to do that. And so I studied every aspect of what I was doing. And
how would you do that though? I mean, I'm just curious on how you go back and look at what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, so I looked at like I made a lot of detailed notes, and also
like written notes.
Yeah, like at the track, because something that I've always struggled with, and I still do this, and my dad, like if he sees this, he's gonna like scream, cry, like punch the air. Like I can sometimes be very bad at communicating to him what's wrong with the car, especially if he asks me at the shop on Saturday, oh, how was the car last night? I don't know. Like I have to think about it right when I get out of the car and like write that down. Also did a lot of...
So you still do that? You get out and...
Yeah, because sometimes like my dad and I are really similar. So sometimes we communicate very well, but sometimes we don't communicate very well, or he gets mad when I don't give him the right feedback that he wants. Like he wants to know about, you know, how the car is off the corner, and I'm talking about how it is getting into the corner, and then he gets mad. So like that's like what works for us when there's a lot going on and the car is like not like even close.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So do you spend time looking at in-cars of other people? Do you do stuff like that?
I used to do that a lot. I don't really do that anymore, but I spend a lot of time looking at my own in-car. I have 3 cameras because I edit videos for YouTube every week. So I spend a lot of time doing those. And I also like sync them all up, and I have my spotter comms also synced up. So I prepare a video for just me and my dad, if he wants to look at it and study what's going on, so I can show him what exactly is going on, like and give feedback like in real time.
So you're actually learning.
That is a recent development. I used to not do that. That is something that is a positive from editing the videos.
I've noticed that over the
for
years
sure.
because obviously I've never driven a race car, but the amount of in-car footage that I've watched over the years, it helps me when I just realized it when we were doing the tri-track race because I'm basically directing over the radio while these guys are shooting. And almost every time I told them to go somewhere, something did eventually happen, whether it was contact or a pass.
Yeah.
And I feel like that knowledge and being able to kind of predict what may be happening comes from watching so much GoPro footage over the years.
Yeah. I mean, we do it with Emma. You know, as soon as we get in from a practice, we take it and I have a TV.
Put it in the laptop?
Well, I have
Oh,
a
is it?
TV
Yeah.
on the camera in the trailer, and we go instantly and we just watch, right? And I watch her hands move, and she's like, Dad, it's really loose. But I'm like, Emma, through 3 and 4, it looks beautiful. 1 and 2, you're a little screwed up. So maybe, because drivers only think of the worst possible thing at the last time.
You guys are
Right,
like,
yeah. You think about like it's the recency bias.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, it sucks off the corner. It's
So
like,
I'm like-
okay, well,
I
getting
am
in the
like
corner,
your
does
fa-
it suck?
Yeah.
Because that's where it starts.
I'm
you
like
know?
your father, and we have the same thing. So that's going to lead to my next question: is how is the communication like on race day, and is your feedback to your father? Does he get frustrated? I know you just touched on that a little bit, but I know I'm passionate, and your dad's been in it forever, and I'm sure he's a Stafford guy and passionate. I mean, does it always stay calm, cool, and collective, or do you guys get fired up? I mean, I'm just curious about the behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody sees.
Yeah. So for context, I have full faith in him. He has
Yeah.
a lot of wins there as a car owner, so full faith. But I think the problem is we are very similar. I can't emphasize that enough. We're really black and white thinkers. So, if I'm basically, there can be moments where we disagree or he needs to sit down and go think by himself or whatever he has to do. It's been in my videos before. We'll be sitting there and the silence is so loud.
Yeah.
So loud.
I understand that.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, I do. I walk away sometimes
yeah.
and just go watch a practice that means nothing to me, just so I could think about what just transpired on the track and what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've gotten a lot better, especially from 2020 onwards when I really started doing my homework and investing in myself as a driver because I had the privilege of time to do that. So things have gotten better, but sometimes, especially I think in 2023, the car wasn't the best. I was new to the division. The car wasn't the best. It was a new car to us, so also we weren't familiar with, its quirks and what it needs and perhaps what it doesn't need. So we kept trying things every week, and we were at the end of our rope. It was so bad.
Yeah,
So-
but you guys turned it up at the end of the year.
Yeah,
Right.
we had a couple podiums, and then in 24 is when we really
24,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when we really got our act together. We understood, I knew more about how to drive the car and what it needs, what it doesn't need, how to race people, because I think the late models is really hard. So yeah, and we also have disagreements too on on track things that happens too.
When you said you were preparing, did you just watch your races and the Stafford fenders, or would you try and expand and go to different tracks and different races? How would you? And would you take stuff from them, or were you just mainly focusing on the things you yourself could improve on?
It was a lot of my own videos. I took a lot of videos during practice too, which I never did that.
Oh, okay.
What I used to do is I only looked at Race Monitor,
Yeah.
which has the lap times on it, but that doesn't really tell us anything. So I watched a lot of my own videos that I took during practice, in car, and views from the stand so I could see the outside of the car. Yeah, mostly a lot of that stuff. Did some private testing too, which I hadn't done. I did a private test once when I got my street stock, and it was my first time driving
What
it.
do you mean a private test? Rented
At
Stafford?
Stafford, yeah,
Oh,
you rent the track.
Yep.
I was 16, and I think I took the day off school, and that was my first time driving a race car. And then since then, didn't do that. And then in 2020 on, for whatever reason, my dad was like, hey, maybe we should go do a test at Stafford before the season starts. And we collected a lot of notes and did a lot of studying after that. And I think that paid dividends. And that's why part of the reason why we won the championship. Yeah.